There is no other way to come out and say it. This is one of the greatest disgraces I've seen in my lifetime. It truly is. The Supreme Court is a laughingstock. It's been bordering that, and frankly has been one for a while. We are seeing the beginnings and origins of a theocratic fascist society governed and dictated by fringe motherfuckers with law degrees who are intelligent enough to dictate what our Constitution says, what our rights are, and what we have a say in and what we don't. Separation of church and state is being destroyed in extremely blatant ways. The repeal of Roe V Wade is a great example of a violation of the Fourth Amendment to the Constitution of the United States. You cannot say that a woman or a person in general, or if I'm going to be played here, a person who can get pregnant, because trans men can get pregnant if they haven't had bottom surgery. Non-binary people can get pregnant if they have the, fucking vagina. And trans men and non-binary people can get raped. I am extremely, quote-unquote, triggered. And you might laugh at that, and if you do laugh at that, then go fuck yourself. If you want to pseudo-intellectualize and rationalize why the fringe Christian theocrats on the court are right, then fuck you. I do not have the patience for it. I do not have the time to pretend to give a shit about your intellectual masturbation. Nor do I have the patience for your disingenuous grifting and your nonsense. I will not tolerate your bullshit. And nor will anybody with any fucking semblance of a working fucking brain and the ability to think critically. I'm a man. I have no skin in the game. But I want to have children. One day. I dread, if I have a daughter, what world I will bring her in. I dread what will happen to her if she gets raped. And Roe is still overturned if that happens. What is she supposed to do? What is she supposed to fucking do? These bastards have fucking ripped away the most fundamental argument of privacy. Keep in mind, this decision was made by 3 men and 1 woman, who you can call a traitor. But she wouldn't define herself as a traitor to her own fucking gender, because she's a Christian theocrat. And Christian theocrats with law degrees who have the ability to strip rights away from us and have it under the guise of freedom, have the delusion that they are morally righteous. They are not. Nor have they ever been. They are evil. The Supreme Court, Clarence Thomas, is evil. Amy Coney Barrett is evil. I forget the other guys' names. I'm so angry right now. It might not seem that I'm angry, but I am angry that this happened in my lifetime. I'm angry at the Democratic Party for just fundraising off of this and not doing anything fucking meaningful. I'm angry that Biden hasn't at least tried to codify Roe through the means of executive order. And if the House and if Congress rejects it, so be it. At least he fucking tried. He hasn't tried that. He's gone The Supreme Court has made a shameful fucking display, and also, here, give me money so I can campaign off this. Fuck you. You're the fucking president of the United States. You could, in theory, fucking try to reverse this. Try with your pen. You could try to do it. I accept that it will most likely not get done, given the fact that an executive order, in order for something to be justified, will be challenged by Congress and by the courts. And obviously the courts will go against this. But at least you're trying. At least you're giving the finger to a fascist theocrat. Several fascist theocrats. I misspoke. At least you're having the balls to fucking do something, Joe. What do? You make a fucking speech. Pelosi make the fucking speech. But meanwhile, women in the poor states are fucked. Dictated by equally theocratic governors who do not give a fuck about them or the fucking babies that they will have to fucking bring to term. Please tell me how you will care for these children. Okay? You want to go pro-life? Okay. I want to see universal health care be brought up by both parties. I want to see drafts. I want to see legislation drafted for universal health care right the fuck now. Go on. Fucking do it. Let's have Medicare for all right now. Let's have an increase in stimulus checks because we're going to be having more mouths to feed. Let's increase housing. Let's build houses for the homeless, for the millions of homeless people that we'll be seeing. Let's make sure our public schools are strong to educate these children that you're forcing into the world. With parents who will not have the means of supporting them adequately. Why? Because you refuse to fucking help them. Because you have the fucking delusion of rugged individualism. Rugged individualism, one of the greatest scams from an ideological perspective. It really is. Dr. King said it best. We have socialism for the rich, and rugged individualism for the poor. You cannot get more blatant than what has just happened with the Supreme Court and what they've been doing. Before Roe, they pulled some bullshit where public funds are now going to go to religious schools. I cannot adequately call these people fucking idiots because they are not fucking idiots. Every one of these Supreme Court justices are objectively intelligent people. They have law degrees. They have extremely consequential positions of power, as we have seen the past fucking week. And they have the delusion of righteousness. That delusion of righteousness is damning a generation of women. And a generation of trans men and non-binary people with vaginas. The injustice is beyond blatant. The majority of the country understands or understood that this is the law of the land. It was a law for 50 years. Every one of these motherfuckers who decided to overturn Roe fucking lied. They are liars. And every fucking congressperson who confirmed them, who didn't share an ideological for lack of a better word, agreement with these fucking theocrats and decided to convert them anyway can go fuck themselves and join the people that should be damned for fucking over millions of women. These people close to me said it best. This is going to be back alley abortions all over again. I've heard horror stories of what getting an abortion was like before it was easier to get, before we had things like Planned Parenthood. The levels of delusion that you have to be to want to go back to that is truly insane. And you cannot rationalize it. And if your example is Scripture, then I have no reason to listen to a damn thing you have to say. Because you're not a rational person. You are not arguing from a rational position. You are not arguing from a true sanctity of life perspective. This ain't a fucking sci-fi movie, people. Where we got artificial wombs. Right? Where we could where we could make abortion a thing of the past if that was a thing. If that was a thing, and you wanted to overturn Roe, hey, that'd be great. Because then the need for abortion would be an obsolete thing. In theory. However, you would still have the cases of rape and incest and people who want to get an abortion because they are about to die. Or just want to get an abortion for the fuck of it. Because you know what, at the end of the fucking day, no matter what my stance is on abortion, I can't get pregnant. I do not have the ability to birth a child, to conceive a fetus. I can't do that because I'm a man. And we had men, majority men, deciding it, as I said. If you're a man, you have no legitimacy in telling a woman what they can and cannot do with what is inside her. And if you want to argue from a theocratic position, the Bible is actually pro-abortion. God actually performs abortions. God actually encourages miscarriages through something called bitter water, which would kill a fetus. I don't remember the exact passage. I'm not a theologian. I am not a scholar on theology. However, I do know that that is something that I am paraphrasing correctly. So y'all don't even know your own fucking holy book. Or you're choosing to cherry pick, which is, again, not surprising at all. I guess at the end of the day, what I have lost patience for is bullshit. And you cannot get something more overtly bullshit than people wanting to take us back 50 years. And damning millions of women. The horrors that we thought were gone. This was never a argument about the sanctity of life. This ideological side is hypocritical. They support the death penalty. Now you could say, well, you see, that's a quote-unquote more nuanced discussion. No, it's not. You're justifying taking a human life. You're justifying the state executing someone. I could give less of a fuck how evil this person was. That's still a human life. Do I concede that there are people who deserve to die? Of course. Fucking course. But as a man who believes in a libertarian socialist philosophy, I cannot agree with or accept the state executing anyone. So, fuck that argument. And fuck that blatant hypocrisy. How about that this is the same side that we're using my body, my choice as a way to, one, mock people who rightfully want abortion access, as a way to rationalize not wearing a fucking face mask. You are a fucking pussy if you cannot handle wearing a stupid piece of fabric over your face. You are a clown. And if you're seriously trying to philosophize wearing a piece of fucking fabric or disposable material over your face, you're a dumbass. And you might say, well, Darth Briarboy, that's not very kind of you. I have no issue with not mincing my words tonight. I do not want to mince my words. I want to be as clear as possible. The side that is claiming to be pro-life has never been pro-life. If they were pro-life, they would advocate for universal child care, universal housing, universal health care, and demanding that we get some type of basic income to subsidize or a way to ease poverty. How about increasing the welfare state? I know that's a taboo thing for some of these motherfuckers, but hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. And we live in a society where people gotta work 2 fucking jobs to make ends meet. You realize how fucked that is? People gotta work 2 jobs to afford a place to live. Businesses offer food pantries. If you don't pay your employees enough so they can buy food to support themselves and their family, that's fucked up. And you're a damn clown if you rationalize that. But no, to these people, these are separate issues, quote unquote. No, motherfucker. If you're bringing someone into this world, then you better fucking adequately support them. Support the mother. Support the child. Make sure that fucking child is the best fucking life they can have. And if you say, well, that's the parent's responsibility, if that parent is in poverty, then the goddamn state has a moral fucking obligation to support that fucking kid. And if you're going to argue otherwise, then you better be on the side of supporting a woman's right to choose, because that shows that you do not give a shit about the sanctity of life. If you gave a shit about the sanctity of life, you would support what I just suggested. Maybe not exactly. Maybe there are, quote-unquote, nuanced ways to do what I am suggesting in a right-wing framework or a centrist framework. I don't believe those are adequate, but if you would at least advocate for social welfare, and you were anti-abortion, hey, I would at least say that's a rational point. But you're not. These people never are. These people, George Carlin fucking said it best. If you're preborn, you're cool. If you're preschooled, you're fucked. George Carlin decimated the pro-life argument 3 decades ago and did it in a far more brilliant and blunt and brusque way than I ever could. And it's scary how true that still rings today. What will I do? I'm gonna donate a big chunk of money to Planned fucking Parenthood, because fuck you people. I'm gonna donate as much fucking money as I fucking possibly can without fucking breaking the bank to make sure that these pro-choice organizations got the fucking funds they need to fight you evil motherfuckers. That's what I'm gonna fucking do. I'm gonna put my goddamn money where my goddamn mouth is, and I'm gonna put links in the goddamn description so y'all can help too. Because this is a fucking moral crisis. This is a human rights crisis. This is a constitutional crisis. And we have to fight like hell. I will not go quietly and let my country become a theocratic fascist shithole. And neither should you. We have to protest. We have to organize. We have to support organizations that support the pro-choice cause. And make sure we do not go quietly into the night. People are saying, what's next? Gay rights? I'm sure. I bet it's on the chopping block. These bastards have already abolished the separation of church and state through the most twisted interpretation of the Constitution I've ever seen. So we have to fight. We have to protest. You can't let evil win. You can't let theocratic fascists win. So as I said, if you want to donate, I'll put a link in the description. I'm going to link a bunch of pro-choice charities for you to donate to. Because you have a moral obligation to do it if you agree with what I'm saying. As do I. As a human, I have a moral obligation to do this. As a feminist, I have a moral obligation to do this. As a man of principle, I have a moral obligation to do this. With that in mind, I'm going to end this as I've ended every other video. Live long and prosper. I would have said have a good day, but I can't mentally see myself having one. I hope, dear viewer, dear listener, that you have a better day than I did when I recorded this rant. Thank you for listening.